Tonight we are celebrating Pinellas County volunteers. And joining me on the red carpet are two Pinellas volunteers?
Yes.
Yes.
Two.
What is your name?
Rosemary Pfeiffer.
And your name?
Gordon.
Gordon. All right. Did you know that we're going to roll out the red carpet for you tonight?
Did not know it.
Well, you are in the spotlight tonight.
Thank you.
We are honoring you tonight, and we have some great entertainment planned for you. Food inside. Take your time walking down that red carpet and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you. The stars are arriving here on the red carpet. And we've got Will Rogers with us.
Howdy, ma'am.
Good to have you with us, Will.
I'm glad to be here.
Are you excited about tonight's ceremony?
Do you know what tonight's about?
Yes, I do.
Well, like I always say, it's easy to let the cat out of the bag, but it's hard to put it back, so I can't tell you what it's about.
As always, witty Will Rogers. Well, we are rolling out the red carpet for you tonight because you're in the spotlight and we want to honor you as a Pinellas County volunteer. We've got some interesting entertainment in store for you. So we hope you take that walk down the red carpet and enjoy this evening.
I've been in Heritage for 25 years
Oh,
as
that's
a volunteer.
That's awesome.
Isn't that a nice, long
It
visit?
certainly is. Well, take your time going down that red carpet. We have Pinellas County Vice Chairman Tim Welch here tonight.
How you doing?
Joining us on the red carpet.
Good to see you. This is fancy.
You like it?
It looks very nice. How you doing?
Excellent. Well, you know, it's all about rolling out the red carpet for our volunteers
Absolutely.
tonight. And how important are volunteers to Pinellas County?
Well, they've always been important to Pinellas County, but in recent years with our budget constraints, their value is even greater for the county. And that's why we want to roll out the red carpet and just tell them how valued they are to Pinellas County.
All right. Well, get in there and mingle.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Talk to you later. We have Bob Costigan here with us tonight. Bob, how excited are you to be here at the Volunteer Appreciation event?
Oh, it's very good to be here. I enjoy volunteering, and I'm glad that I'm able to assist where I can. And it's nice that the county recognizes those volunteers and honors them. And I'm glad to be here.
Well, we hope you're looking forward to a very exciting evening. We have some entertainment planned that you're just going to love. So take your walk down the red carpet, sir, and enjoy the evening.
Thank you very much, Lizzie. I appreciate it.
Certainly. Oprah. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say. I mean, as a journalist, I don't know what to say to Oprah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, this is an extraordinary event, and I would never have missed this for a million years.
We are so honored to have you here to help celebrate Pinellas County volunteers. How important is that to you?
Well, I don't think I need to tell the audience how important volunteering and giving back, because we have all seen it on my show, how much I give back. I just want to be here to support these extraordinary individuals and let them know the greatness of their giving back to their community.
It's wonderful. And I don't know what to say. Thank you so much for being
No,
here.
thank you, Ricky.
Thank you. You're doing it right, lady.
I need my volunteer badge.
No, you don't. What's your name?
Mary Ann.
Where do you volunteer?
We volunteer at Extension. We're Sustainable Floridians, and we're also master nutritionists. So
That's
we go
wonderful.
into school and teach, and we at their tables that are set up, and teach at our garden. We have a community garden.
Well, wonderful. We'll take your prance down the red carpet. This is all about you tonight. Lady. Go on, give it up. Good to see you again, Ruby. Rolling. Tonight we are honored.
Pretty custom you got on there.
Thank you, sir. You know this. I love a man that knows. Awesome. We are joined by Ken Burke. Please tell us why you're here tonight.
Well, the clerk's office really relies heavily on our volunteers, and we certainly appreciate them tonight. We want to say thank you to them.
Absolutely. Well, you take your walk down the red carpet, and we're going to welcome some more
the
volunteers.
red carpet's for the volunteers.
Well, take a walk down there.
Thank you.
Welcome tonight. Are you a Pinellas County volunteer?
Heritage Village.
Wonderful. Well, take your walk down the red carpet.
Thank you.
And folks, we have a megastar here in Renton. How are you? Thank you for coming tonight and helping us honor our volunteers in Pinellas County. What a great job we're going to do. Renton, folks. Come on in to our red carpet event. We're honoring you tonight. Take your walk down the red carpet. Come join us, ladies. Join us down the red carpet. It's all about you tonight. Hi, Peggy. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
We are so excited to be joined by County Administrator Bob LaSala here tonight to honor our Pinellas County volunteers on the red carpet. How exciting is tonight?
This is great. This is a wonderful opportunity to say thanks and to recognize people for their time and their talent and their expertise that they bring. And I just came from Fort DeSoto Park, and the staff was just raving about the depth of experience and the extent of the volunteer corps down there. So we're excited about this evening.
Well, I hope you're anticipating a very exciting event tonight because we have some very good entertainment for you.
All right.
So,
great.
County Administrator Bob LaSalle.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have royalty here tonight with us at Pinellas County. Margaret Tobin Brown, thank you so much for being here with us.
It is my pleasure.
What made you want to come and help us honor our Pinellas County volunteers?
Well, I think that the county would not subsist without our large force of volunteers to support our employees who do a fabulous job. And I am so happy to be part of the volunteer force.
We are so grateful to have you as one of our volunteers. Margaret Tobin Brown, better known as Molly Brown. Thank you.
Picked up JJ in 1909 and got a really good monthly salary.
On behalf of Pinellas County Volunteer Services, I would like to welcome you to this evening's celebration. Now I'd like to introduce Len Szynski. Len has worked in broadcasting and public relations for over 25 years.
You're not going to read all that, are you?
No, I won't read it all, but you know what? I bow to you because I'm a rookie.
Well, that doesn't happen a lot. Well, good evening, everybody. Look at you all. This place is filled. You know, I haven't been to an event this large in years. I can't remember the last time I stood in front of a group of people like this, all volunteers, all working to provide services for the citizens of Pinellas County. And Carol, I might say you look wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. We kind of look like penguins.
We do. You know, we got dressed up tonight because of the Hollywood premiere theme that the festivity has. And I guess it's kind of a shock for some people that know me. I don't know. I had 6 people come up to me and say, well, you clean up very well.
Somebody said that to me too.
Well, see, and it kind of makes me wonder what I look like in real life. Maybe I should go buy new clothes this weekend.
Let me see. Wait.
So what do you think?
Oh, you look fine.
It's okay.
You look wonderful. Wonderful.
Well, and 4 people came up to me and said the wedding is at the Florida Botanical Gardens.
People wanted me to take their drink order.
So, well, and exactly 3 people. I've got a couple of gin and tonics out back and a scotch and soda.
Where?
They're out back, so we'll check them out later on. But it is wonderful to be part of the festivity here tonight. I know you've got a lot to do, so Carol, I'll be here when you need me.
You know what? Fantastic, Len. Thank you very much. And now, I'd like all of our county commissioners, Mr. Burke, clerk of the circuit court, and Mr. LaSala, our county administrator, to join me on the red carpet. Right on this line. There you go. Remember, we did this last year, too. You can stand on it. It's okay. All right? Toes together, heels on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's my military experience. There you go. There you go. Get them in line. Fall in. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the Director of Pinellas County Human Resources, Peggy Rowe.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Cavalcade of Stars tonight, our celebration of National Volunteer Week, and our opportunity to thank all of you for your extraordinary service over this past year. As you'll see, the stars have come out tonight, but the brightest stars are you and all of our volunteers around the county. We know that all of our volunteers are dedicated, talented, and proud of what they do, and we're proud of all of you. We've learned a lot this year about how you've made a difference in Pinellas County. Tonight we're going to give some awards for exemplary service, which are well-deserved. They are the President's Volunteer Service Award for over 4,000 hours of service, the Partners in Public Service Award for volunteers who've been nominated by their departments for their leadership and outstanding service. I'd like to talk real briefly about some of our nominees. Volunteers Save Lives. The 20-plus volunteers in the Positive Pack gave up many of their weekends and adopted out an additional 75 dogs to loving homes in just 5 months. Volunteers raise money, lots of it. The Botanical Gardens Foundation raised a record-breaking $96,000 from the 2011 Holiday of Lights event. Volunteers bring great ideas to the table and then carry them out, like the bike repair project for the auxiliary rangers on the Pinellas Trail and the Senior for Senior program at Animal Services. Volunteers produce things that will last, like building and refurbishing picnic tables at our parks and creating GIS maps depicting the coastal storm area. You are our partners from everything from putting on special events like this one to volunteering on a very long-term basis. It all counts. You are interns, retirees, business people, members of the military, teachers, students, event planners, and secretaries. You are tinkerers, putterers, jacks of all trade, historians, technicians, artists, gardeners, craftspeople, surveyors, scientists, and landscapers. You do it all. And if you didn't, we could not continue to do all that we do for the residents of Pinellas County. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So get ready, because this is your bright, big night. On tap, we have county staff people who have volunteered to teach you some history and certainly entertain you. And please allow me once again to introduce our Clerk of the Circuit Court, Ken Burke, Commissioner Seal, Commissioner Bostock, Commissioner Brickfield, and Commissioner and Vice Chair of the Commission, Ken Welch, and our County Administrator, Bob LaSala. And at this time, I believe Ken Burke has a few words to say. Thank you, Mr. Burke.
I want to thank all the volunteers, but especially I want to pay tribute to the clerk volunteers. You know, you mentioned gardening, you mentioned all these other things. Peggy didn't mention docketing and filing, and that's what we do in the clerk's office, and I am so appreciative of the folks who volunteer. And Vanessa and Tom, I want to thank you for your efforts to get us so many volunteers and going out into the community. But it just also shows the breadth of the volunteers. One of the volunteers who's here with us tonight was an attorney in Albania and then came to this country and is working in the clerk's office as a volunteer helping us. Another is a legal secretary who has had a lifetime of experience as a legal secretary and is in the clerk's office doing the important functions. I also have to preach a little here, folks. If any of you have friends or neighbors or colleagues who would like to volunteer and are interested in doing office work and knowing more about our court system, please have them contact me, Ken Burke, or Vanessa, and we'll openly welcome you into the clerk's office and have you help us volunteer serving the citizens of Pinellas County. But to all of you, thank you for the magnificent work you do.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. And I believe Commissioner Welch has a few words, followed by Bob LaSala. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy, and good afternoon. It is truly an honor to stand with you tonight with my fellow commissioners and on behalf of our chairman, John Maroney, just to say thank you for the job that you're doing and to let you know that you're valued. I am one of the longest serving commissioners now since 2000. And I can tell you we've always admired and thanked our volunteers for being a part of this county team. But in the last few years with the fiscal pressures that we faced, the role that you serve and the service that you provide for our county is even more important. And going forward, we cannot make it without your volunteer service. And so if you take nothing else from tonight, and this is very good, and Lynn, you do dress up very well, wherever Lynn is, and very appropriate, this red carpet treatment. It's just to let you know how valued you are. Going forward, it is a partnership, as Peggy said, a partnership with all of our county agencies, with Ken and the rest of the constitutional officers, but also with the community. And with you as volunteers, you play a pivotal role. We cannot do this without you going forward. And I'm always impressed when I see the breadth of service, as Ken said, from auditing to gardening and everything in between. Just the talent that you bring to the volunteer service means so much to our community. And moving forward, Pinellas will remain one of the best places in this country to live, play, and work because of what you bring. So thank you so much, and enjoy this celebration this afternoon. Thank you.
Good evening, and on behalf of all the department directors and all the county staff, please accept my deep appreciation for the time and energy and efforts that you bring to our service. I just came from a meeting with Parks staff and the staff from Fort DeSoto, and in the course of that conversation, they told me about the work that many of you are doing, volunteers at Fort DeSoto, whether it's physical work in terms of maintaining the park or environmental work there. Without that resource, we wouldn't be able to keep that jewel in the crown of our park system, the vibrant and special place that it is, and will continue to be. But your time, your talent, your treasure that gets applied in a variety of settings is one that we are very, very grateful for. And I don't know how to begin to say thank you, and please enjoy the evening.
Thank you. You may take your seats. I will call you up, however, again later on when the awards presentations start to go on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce Len again to take away the show.
All right, well, we come to the entertainment part of today's agenda, and I hope you'll all enjoy what we have planned for you. We're in the middle of an amazing celebration. As you may know, especially those that are connected with Heritage Village, we're in the middle of the Pinellas County Centennial. 100 years ago, Pinellas County declared its independence, won its independence over Hillsborough County, and became an independent county. So we're going to factor that into the theme of the show tonight by going back 100 years. To assist me with that, I'd like to introduce Libby Bowling from PCC TV in the Pinellas County Communications Department.
Thank you, Lynn.
Libby, we're going to talk about the Centennial, talk about some of the people that were historic and instrumental in developing Pinellas County over these last 100 years, and also on a worldwide and international basis, some of the personalities that helped shape the history of the world over this last 100 years. So, Libby, are you ready to go back to the turn of the century?
I'm ready to go back. Let's go back 100 years.
Pinellas County became Florida's 48th county on January 1st, 1912. when the Pinellas Independence Bill went into effect. That established the county as a separate entity from Hillsborough County. That same year, Solomon Smith Coachman was named the first chairman of the Pinellas County Commission by Governor Albert Gilchrist in recognition of his tireless campaigning for the separation. Born in rural South Carolina, Coachman moved to Florida in 1881 and settled in the Pinellas County area in 1886. He eventually purchased the McMullen Homestead in 1902. Coachman supplied lumber for many buildings in Clearwater, expanded his own citrus groves, and established a mercantile business and packing company also in Clearwater. Solomon Smith Coachman, one of Pinellas County's founding fathers. On the global stage, April 16, 1912. That date will certainly be remembered for one ship's fateful maiden voyage carrying the rich and famous across the Atlantic, including
Molly Brown. Molly Brown was an American human rights activist, philanthropist, and actress who survived the sinking of the Titanic. The daughter of Irish immigrants, she was born July of 1867 in Hannibal, Missouri. Her real-life name was Margaret Tobin. In 1886, she joined her brother Daniel in the small mining town of Leadville, Colorado, where she helped establish soup kitchens for miners' families and became involved with the women's suffrage movement. She married James Joseph Brown in 1893, and when he developed a new mining technique a year later, they became one of the richest couples in the state. While in Egypt in 1912, Brown received word that her grandson was gravely ill and traveled to Cherbourg, France, where she boarded the Titanic to return home. During the sinking, she helped command a lifeboat and used her fluency in several languages to assist survivors. For her efforts during and after the sinking of the Titanic, she was awarded the French Legion of Honor. The unsinkable Molly Brown.
Pinellas in the 20s saw a real estate boom taking place. That happened in St. Petersburg and countywide. The economic activity rippled throughout the entire county. Frenzied speculation brought many investors and seasonal residents to the area, and the opening of the Gandy Bridge connected Lower Pinellas with industrial centers across Tampa Bay. The 20s in Pinellas are also marked by the achievements of Catherine Bell Tippett. Tippett was a Maryland native who moved to St. Petersburg with her husband in 1902. Fluent in 5 languages and a prolific writer, Tippett used her talents working for the cause of conservation. She founded the St. Petersburg Audubon Society in 1909, serving as president for 33 years. She also served as president of the Florida Audubon Society, vice president of the American Forestry Association, trustee of the National Park Association, and the National Campfire Girls, and she played an instrumental role in the establishment of the Florida Fish and Game Commission. Conservationist Catherine Bell Tippett. The 20s also gave us one of our most beloved American figures.
Will Rogers. Will Rogers was first an Indian, a cowboy, and then a national figure. Today he is a legend. Born in 1879 on a large ranch in the Cherokee Nation near what would become Oolaga, Oklahoma, Will Rogers was taught by a freed slave how to use a lasso to work Texas longhorn cattle on the family ranch. As he grew older, his roping skills developed, so much so that he was listed in the Guinness Book of World Records for throwing 3 lassos at once. Will Rogers used his folksy charms and wisecracks to bring him fame. During his lifetime, he traveled the globe 3 times, wrote 6 books, published over 2 million words, and was a famous radio commentator and movie star who raised large sums of money to help the Salvation Army and the Red Cross. He also loved flying. It was on a flight to Alaska in 1935 with a daring one-eyed Oklahoma pilot named Wiley Post when that love of flying turned into tragedy. The plane crashed and both men lost their lives. Will Rogers, he never met a man. he didn't like.
And of course, our Will says he never met a volunteer he didn't like.
Absolutely.
By the 1930s, the land boom in Florida had stalled, and like the entire nation, Pinellas County was in the grip of the Great Depression. In Clearwater, Donald Roebling, the great-grandson of John A. Roebling and the grandson of Colonel Washington A. Roebling, who respectively designed and built the Brooklyn Bridge, was building something of his own. After a hurricane swept through the Everglades in 1935, Roebling got the idea for an amphibious rescue vehicle. He named it the Alligator. The Marine Corps took notice and worked with Roebling to design a more seaworthy vehicle for military use, ultimately nicknamed the Roebling Alligator. The Roebling Alligator was used extensively by U.S. forces in the Pacific Theater, playing a vital role in the island-hopping strategy employed by the U.S. Marines. It was also used in the European theater by the U.S. Army and played a crucial part in the amphibious assault of Normandy during the D-Day invasion. In 1948, Donald Roebling was awarded the Medal of Merit from President Harry S. Truman for exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service to the United States. Donald Roebling, a great American and a great Pinellas County resident. The 30s saw the peak of another star in the global constellation.
Rin Tin Tin. Rescued from a bombed-out World War I trench in September of 1918, this German Shepherd would go on to become the most famous dog in the world. When Corporal Lee Duncan of the American 135th Air Squadron took him and the rest of the litter back to his camp that fateful day, he realized that he had only heard of this breed of dog but had never actually seen one. He kept both, a male and a female puppy, and named them for a set of popular French dolls. The female was named Nanette, and the male was named Rin Tin Tin. Returning to California after the war, Duncan was astonished at the intelligence and agility of the dog. Rin Tin Tin was soon cast to play a role in a movie and quickly became the star. Eventually, he made 23 movies and was credited with saving an, at that time, little-known motion picture studio from bankruptcy. You know the studio, Warner Brothers. Rin Tin Tin was nominated for an Academy Award as a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, was written about by Anne Frank in her diary. When he died in the arms of actress Jean Harlow in 1932, radio stations across the country interrupted their programs to announce his passing. His fourth-generation grandson starred in the TV series The Adventures of Rin Tin Tin from 1954 to 1959, and today, the 12th generation, Rin Tin Tin, is the spokesdog for the American Humane Association. There will always be a Rin Tin Tin.
From the beginning, baseball thrived in Pinellas. The St. Louis Browns had made St. Petersburg their spring training home. But it was the Yankees and their star player that would hit a home run with fans and seal the deal for the springtime ritual and its place in Pinellas.
George Herman Ruth Jr. A troubled young boy at age 7, Ruth was sent to a reform school for 12 years where a monk named Brother Matthias introduced him to the game of baseball. He excelled to the point where, at age 19, he was signed to play for the Baltimore Orioles. Because he was underage, the team's owner, Jack Dunn, had to sign Ruth's contract as his guardian. And for that, he was called Dunn's New Babe, a joke that stuck, and so did the nickname, Babe Ruth. Babe was quickly called up to the major leagues in Boston, where the game of baseball was about to change forever. When the Red Sox owner had financial trouble, Ruth's contract was sold to the New York Yankees for the unheard-of price of $100,000. By 1927, Yankee Stadium was renamed the House That Ruth Built. He had broken all batting records, and his 714 career home runs would not be surpassed until 1974. Ruth briefly retired, but was lured back to one last game in Pittsburgh on May 25th in 1935. Overweight and out of shape, he still hit 3 home runs in that single game. He was one of the first 5 ball players inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1936. On June 13th, 1948, the Babe, then sick with cancer, made one last appearance at Yankee Stadium to celebrate the ballpark's 25th anniversary. Babe Ruth, an American legend.
With the 30s coming to a close, a new threat emerged from across the Atlantic. And once again, the country was drawn into the fray, and there was no going back. Here in Pinellas, frenzied war activity replaced languishing tourism. Another fight, closer to home, was being fought by Pinellas County's own, Mary Lou Baker. In 1942, Baker became the second woman member of the Florida House of Representatives. A graduate of Clearwater High School and Stetson University, Baker authored the 1943 Women's Emancipation Act, also known as the Married Women's Rights Law. The bill gave married women the right to manage their own property, enter into contracts, to sue and be sued, convey property, and to execute documents. No doubt, passage of the bill was helped by the fact that so many women were running family businesses and engaging in new economic endeavors to fill the voids created by husbands who went to war. Mary Lou Baker, fighting the fight for women's rights at home. For our nation and the entire world, good times were to come, signaled by victory over Japan in 1945, better known as VJ Day.
Nurse Edith Shane came to New York's Times Square to join the spontaneous celebration that erupted after President Eisenhower announced Japan's acceptance of the Potsdam Treaty on August 14, 1945. Suddenly, a jubilant U.S. sailor dipped her, landing a kiss as VJ Day celebrations roared around them. The iconic image was captured by photographer Alfred Eisenstadt, becoming one of the most famous photographs of the World War II era. Shane's identity remained a mystery until the 1970s. There is still controversy over the identity of that sailor. The VJ Day kiss, an iconic moment in world history. Weren't they brave?
Well, the 50s in Pinellas were marked by change. Urbanization transformed the landscape as new developments replaced old groves and farmlands. On the horizon, another transition began taking shape. C. Betty Wimbish moved to Pinellas from Tampa in 1952 with her husband, Ralph, a physician. While Dr. Wimbish provided leadership to local chapters of the NAACP throughout the 50s and 60s, Betty championed voter registration drives in the black community. Their home in St. Petersburg became better known as the Wimbish Hotel, offering shelter to African-American Major League ball players, musicians, and entertainers who were refused at downtown hotels. Betty participated in sit-ins to desegregate lunch counters in major department stores in St. Petersburg and became the first black female attorney in Pinellas County. Betty won a seat on the St. Petersburg City Council in 1969, also the first African-American to do so. Betty then became vice mayor of St. Petersburg in 1971 and eventually worked with Governor Reuben Askew's administration in Tallahassee, serving as Deputy Secretary of Commerce. C. Betty Wimbish, a champion of social justice. Across the South, the growing clamor for civil rights fueled an atmosphere ripe for change, with another woman's courage giving it the spark.
Rosa Parks. Born Rosa Louise McCauley on February 4th, 1913, the granddaughter of slaves, she would become an icon for the civil rights movement in the United States. Her refusal to surrender her seat to a white passenger on Montgomery, Alabama bus on December 1st, 1955, spurred a citywide boycott for forcing the city of Montgomery to lift the law requiring segregation on public buses and bringing to town a little-known preacher from Atlanta named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. First in her family to graduate from high school, she went on to the Alabama State Teachers College and served along with her husband in the NAACP, working for racial equality. She met and was encouraged by both Presidents Kennedy and Johnson and is today considered a pioneer activist who fought for total freedom in America. She was quoted as saying, "I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear." Rosa Parks.
By the 1960s, the civil rights movement in Pinellas County led to challenges to desegregated schools, businesses, and public accommodations. Leon W. Bradley Sr., a police officer and vice president of the Clearwater NAACP, organized the challenge of the Pinellas County School Board's gradualist dual system strategy towards integration. The legal attack began with a class action suit filed in the U.S. District Court in Tampa on May 7, 1964. James Sanderlin, a young area attorney, was given the case by the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. In Bradley versus the Board of Public Instruction of Pinellas County, Sanderlin argued that nearly a decade after Brown versus the Board of Education, less than 2% of the county's black pupils attended desegregated schools. After nearly an 8-year fight, the Pinellas County School Board finally adopted an effective county-wide desegregation program on June 2, 1971, requiring Pinellas County school officials to comply with one of the most comprehensive desegregation plans in the United States. Leon Bradley and James Sanderlin, defending civil rights and the education of our children. Education played a large role in the life of our next national and international star.
Jacqueline Lee Bouvier Kennedy Onassis. At an early age, Jackie wrote essays and poems, which were sometimes published in local newspapers. In her high school newspaper, she penned a cartoon series and won the graduating award for literature. After college, she worked for the Washington Times-Herald as its inquiring camera girl, and while earning $42 a week, had the opportunity to interview a rising young star in the Democratic Party named John F. Kennedy. Their marriage in September of 1953 produced 3 children, Caroline, John Jr., and one who died only days after birth, leaving her heartbroken with grief over the loss for the remainder of her life. It was a bright, sunny day in November 1963 that another tragedy unfolded for her and our nation. The assassination of President Kennedy in Dallas ended the magical era that became known as Camelot. While First Lady, Jackie drew international attention for her sense of grace and fashion, her fluency in Italian, French, and Spanish, and her drive to bring the rich history of the White House to the American people. With the loss of Robert Kennedy in 1968, and in the climate of the times, Jackie feared for her children and made the decision to marry the Greek shipping tycoon Aristotle Onassis, moving to Athens and his private Greek island. After his death in 1972, she moved back to New York, where she actively pursued her many interests in the arts and publishing. A beloved First Lady, Jackie Kennedy Onassis.
Pinellas County in the 70s brought annexation, expansion, and regional challenges, battles over water resources, the expansion of infrastructure, and condomania gripped the peninsula. Amid all the urban sprawl, a bright spot for conservation emerged with St. Petersburg native Jim Robinson. Robinson was elected to the Florida House of Representatives in 1966 and he soon emerged as a legislation champion for conservation. The co-introduced Graham-Robinson Act created the ability to set aside funds to purchase public parks lands and was approved by voters in 1972. Then, in 1974, former Representative Robinson successfully convinced the legislature to approve the purchase of Whedon Island, making Pinellas County the first recipient of land under the Graham-Robinson Act. Whedon Island's preserved founding father, former Representative Jim Robinson. Preserving our sanity during the 70s meant letting go a little bit, and one national star helped us do just that.
Here's Johnny. Johnny Carson was born in Iowa, raised in Nebraska, and became the toast of the town in New York and Los Angeles. As host of The Tonight Show, he established the standard format for television talk shows, including The Guest Couch and The Studio Band, and came to be considered the king of late-night television. Hosting that program for 3 decades, Carson had an unprecedented influence on a generation of television viewers, and his decision to move his show from New York to California was instrumental in shifting the power of the entire TV industry to Los Angeles. He created such memorable characters as Aunt Blabby, and who can forget Karnak the Magnificent, as well as a large number of classic skits, becoming one of the most beloved performers in the country. On May 22nd, 1992, Carson's final appearance as the host of The Tonight Show attracted an estimated 50 million viewers, the largest audience in late-night history. He won 4 Emmy Awards and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He once quipped, "Democracy is great. It means that anyone can grow up to be president, and anyone who doesn't grow up can be vice president." The one and only Johnny Carson.
As the 80s arrived in Pinellas County, many new bridges, both physical and social, spanned the county and across Tampa Bay. The new Sunshine Skyway and the Bayside Bridge promoted regional connections, while the pursuit of a Major League Baseball franchise sparked lively debates. And on the national front,
Oprah Winfrey. She became the queen of daytime television. Born on a small farm in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, oh my goodness, Oprah, as we all have come to know her, spent her early years with her grandmother, who taught her to read at a very young age. At 3, she was reciting poems and Bible verses in local churches. At 17, she won the Miss Black Tennessee Beauty Pageant and was offered an on-air job at a radio station in Nashville, moving quickly into local television as a reporter and anchor. In January 1984, Oprah was invited to host a faltering half-hour morning program in Chicago, and in less than a year, she turned it into the hottest show in town. It was expanded to 1 hour and renamed The Oprah Winfrey Show. 1 year later, she went national and became the #1 daytime show in syndication, winning 3 Emmy Awards. Rather than sensational stories and outrageous guests, Oprah emphasized spiritual values, healthy living, and self-help, and her program became more popular than ever. When Forbes magazine published its list of America's billionaires for the year 2003, it disclosed that Oprah Winfrey was the first African-American woman to become a billionaire. She appears on every list of the world's leading opinion makers and has been rightly called the most powerful woman in the world. Today, Oprah runs her own cable network. No pun intended. The Oprah Winfrey Network venture marks the start of the next chapter of this great American. Oprah Winfrey.
And now let's have all of our stars join us up front as we give them a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pinellas County Centennial Cavalcade of Stars. about one more kiss?
Yeah.
Well, Carol, what a great program that was.
Fantastic!
And now, of course, it's time to honor you, everybody in the audience, as our volunteer stars.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That was wonderful. I'll let these celebrities kind of get out of the way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask the commissioners and Mr. Burke and Mr. LaSala to please join me up front again so that you can participate in our awards ceremony. Do you all have a skit planned, or are you guys just gonna? You all right up here? You all right? All right. All right. I know. That's a hard group to follow. That's a hard group to follow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. We have two sets of awards this evening. The first is the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. This award is given to volunteers who have contributed at least 4,000 hours to Pinellas County. And this year we have 4 volunteers who have reached that goal. Think about that. Together, they have volunteered over 16,000 hours, or over 2,000 8-hour days. And to put it another way, they have saved the county over $300,000. Assisting Commissioner Welch tonight in handing out the awards are Ellen Babb, Heritage Village Operations Manager, and Paige Noel, Heritage Village Museum Interpreter. Ladies and gentlemen, as I read your name, please come up to receive your award. Rose Marie Kafer, Heritage Village. Rose Marie began volunteering for Pinellas County in 1998 and is the current president of the Pinellas County Historical Society. Mary Urquhart, 4-H, Parks and Conservation Resources. Mary began volunteering for Pinellas County at Extension Services in 1992, 20 years ago. She is also involved in the 4-H program, which I have to tell you is the reason why she is not here this evening. She is volunteering in Gainesville on a 4-H program. But let's give her one more round of applause. Barbara Orr, Master Gardener, Parks and Conservation Resources. Barbara began volunteering 18 years ago in 2004. She is a Master Gardener and is involved in the 4-H program. Dorothy Whitley, Master Gardener, Parks and Conservation Resources. Dorothy Whitley is a Master Gardener and began volunteering in 1997. And I think that she is not with us tonight, but again, let's give her a round of applause. also honored this evening to present the Partners in Public Service Awards to individuals and groups who have been nominated by their departments for offering exemplary volunteer service in 2011. There are 4 categories: retiring, individual, youth, and group. Winners are selected on 3 criteria. Need. The nominee contributed a needed service. Initiative. The nominee started new programs or activities, instituted new methods or new efficiencies, and impact. The service produced positive changes or provided an example for others. When I call your name, please come forward to receive your award. The Partners in Public Service Award in the retiring category is Cicely Post. Miss Post retired from volunteering in 2011. She began her volunteer career with Pinellas County back in 1992 at Heritage Village. Miss Post spent her days as an embroiderer in the Daniel McMullen House and has been a member of the Heritage Stitcher for almost 20 years. She has helped preserve Pinellas County history for over 2 decades. She will be greatly missed. Thank you, Cicely, and evidently Cicely is not here this evening. When we received 17 nominations for the individual award, we knew we would have a tough decision. So let's be clear. All those nominated are outstanding volunteers, and we wish we could have given each one of you this award. Thank you all for your contributions. The Partners in Public Service Award for an individual goes to Peggy Johannesson, who volunteers with Parks and Conservation Resources. Miss Johannesson volunteers at Philippi Park and Watershed Management. Peggy routinely tackles various beautification and vegetation removal projects. She even worked 10 hours on Thanksgiving so that the citizens could enjoy the park in the absence of employees. Peggy has proven that volunteering can be contagious. Over the past year and a half, she has added 9 new volunteers to her efforts at Philippi Park. With Watershed Management, Peggy has been volunteering for special education events and has become an integral part of the department's pollution prevention and education program. Congratulations, Peggy. Now for our youth winner, Amanda Fendera. Amanda has been a junior docent for 2 years at Heritage Village. She provides historical tours to the public and has quickly become a leader during the Passport Adventures summer program. Amanda trains incoming junior docents and has inspired other youths to join the program. Well done, Amanda. Let's give her a round of applause. Now for our group winner. This year's group winner is the Florida Botanical Gardens for Holiday Lights. This annual event has continued to grow over the years with the Florida Botanical Gardens Board at the helm. This past year, the group raised $96,000, as you heard earlier from Peggy Rowe. $26,000 more than last year. This feat took over 7,000 volunteer hours, which equates to over $140,000. 60,000 people attended this event, 20 more thousand than the year prior. And accepting the award for the group is Chuck Scafidi. And please, if there are any members of the Florida Botanical Gardens Board with us tonight, please stand and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. Incredible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Len, I'm going to call you back up here,
What a proud moment. I mean, the work that these volunteers do every day for the citizens of Pinellas County, and to have the best of the best be rewarded this way, it's a proud moment for everybody. And once again, let's really hear it. Give them another round of applause for them and for you and all the volunteers that work in Pinellas County.
And ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor for Pinellas County Volunteer Services to host this celebration. Our volunteers' dedication to service has touched every part of our county. And as a volunteer, each and every one of you have made a difference. Please don't stop volunteering. We are forever grateful. Thank you all for being here and letting us thank you. To close the celebration, please stand and join us in singing God Bless America. Again, and have a safe trip home.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Up the way you might want to swing it. There you go. Give us a swing. Oh yeah, it's a pitch and a swing. Woo. Right. Way to work it. Good. Yeah. Thank you.
We've got the home run king here on the red carpet tonight. My goodness.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Babe Ruth.
Yes.
It's so exciting to have you here.
Well, it's such a pleasure and an honor to be here with this magnificent group.
Now, you spend a lot of time down here in Pinellas County in spring training, and we're so glad to have you back to honor Pinellas County volunteers.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so pleased to be here. This is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And spring training, and then up there playing ball in the Northeast, to come back here and call this my home is just wonderful.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you tonight, Slugger. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So exciting to have Babe Ruth, the home run king, here tonight. We have First Lady Jackie Bouvier Kennedy Onassis. Oh my goodness. You are absolutely in your shell. It's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Why, thank you. I actually was going to wear Chanel, but I decided on Ann Lowe, who designed my wedding gown for me.
Oh my goodness! It's just gorgeous, stunning,
Thank you.
and the pillbox, absolutely, the gloves.
Thank you very much.
Just a fashion plate, as always.
Absolutely.
Now tonight we're honoring our Pinellas County volunteers, and it is so gracious of you to come and help us do that.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. I'm very excited to be here today. I'll be off to France tomorrow. As you probably know, I speak French, and I'm very excited.
So wonderful. Thank you for taking the time now.
Thank you. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Jackie. Oh my goodness. Johnny Carson has joined us. Johnny, aren't you excited about tonight?
Libby, I can't contain myself. I think I'm going to burst. Here I go. There it was.
You are so gracious to join us to help represent these volunteers. Isn't it a great night?
Yes, we have a lot of great folks there. They're contributing to the county, to the community. We need to honor them.
Well, thank you, Johnny. We'll see you inside.
All right.
Maybe Ed's in there.
Okay, I'll go look.
Okay. Johnny Carson. Oh my goodness.